I get to walk into a studio or a controlled environment, let's just say, like this, like my podcast, like the JBP, and it's almost like you're in this echo chamber, so you don't really realize that 3 million people are listening to you until you see like the Reddit threads and stuff like that. But all I had to go off of really was just these enormous crowds that you guys perform in front of. Like 3,000 people at Jacob Javits Center, if you're not familiar, you know, because you're not from New York. It is a convention center here in New York City, and it is massive, and they fill an entire, like, you know, ballroom there. And it makes me wonder how you guys even got to that, you know, that size, you know.
Man, one ticket at a time. I met this guy in 2015 at a show that he did in Cleveland, and that was the first time I had ever seen somebody in a city that was not theirs, that you wouldn't think at the time was a traditional celebrity. This is before influencers were influencers, right? So I'm going to a poetry show, and I did poetry at the time. And
you did poetry too?
Yeah, Ace
Still
Metaphor.
does. He's performing on with me in 2 days on stage.
Yeah. So
I am learning so much about you, my new friend.
So we all did. We went to his show in in Cleveland, and that was the first time I actually be able to see how somebody would coordinate tours, you know, independently. And so I duplicated that. You know what I'm saying? This is before me and him had the good relationship we had now, but it was like he was a mentor from afar from me. So I was able to see how he was able to do it. And so how you get to 3,000 people, you do 30, you do 100, you do 300, you do 600. A lot of people want to skip the line.
Yeah.
Can't skip the line. It takes that refinement from doing those small shows to get that character enough to be able to do the big ones.
So I was asking Ace off camera, you know, how did this even start? Suddenly I just start to see clip after viral clip of the panel of people that you have on tonight's conversation speaking to these huge audiences, and I had no idea what was the origin point, and you said it was a game.
Yeah, it started as a card game called Tonight's Conversation. But prior to that, I was just touring as Ace Metaphor. So I ended up doing my own solo tours, and then I did a collaboration tour with Derek Jackson and Stefan Speaks.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
I know that. Hold on, first of all, you got to think this is peak 2019.
Okay, so wait, has Derek's scandal broken at this point?
This is pre-scandal.
Oh shit.
Derek, you still my boy, but this is pre-scandal.
I mean, yeah.
And you know, everybody get their fair taste of scandal, so I can't judge. But like this is the height of that. So this is the first time, I mean, outside the city of Dayton, I'm packing out rooms with 1,000 people, 1,200 people. Then we went and did a tour, Mike, TC, Poetic Styles. We did a tour called the Love, Laugh, and Poetry Tour, and like 2020 before COVID hit. And so that is where I started to get that bug for live entertainment and touring and being an organizer and a promoter and a financer of it. COVID happened, shut everything down.
Yeah.
So I could not tour. Like I could not make money, and all these venues had my deposits. So I pivoted to e-commerce. To make the story not as long as it has to be, I was like, let me create another product that I can just have on my online store. So it just lives there, and then hopefully somebody bundle it up for a Christmas deal. And so I was like, let me create a card game just for daters, because I do these tours and I do a question and answer, and I'm like, I hear so many questions that I know what people should be asking. And I thought that it was gonna sit on my website. I ordered 5,000, I thought it was a lifetime supply of card games. And when I tell you I sold 5,000 card games in the matter of 2 days.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I know we own to something.
Yeah.
So then it was the date night edition, the couples edition, then it was relationship debates, a game night edition, after dark edition. Before we even started the podcast, I had sold 500,000 card games.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And so I used that money to finance the podcast.
Okay, so the podcast comes along. When do you decide to take it on the road, and how did you pick the panelists? Because boy, do you have some colorful mofos on that panel. And there's been a lot of There's been a lot of what's that word where they rotation.
Rotation.
There's been a lot of rotation.
But see, here's the thing. The funny part about it is, and my bad for hogging the mic time. I know he's gonna start talking.
I'm gonna get to him.
But here's the interesting part about it. So we created the podcast in 2022. Mm-hmm. So January 2022, Mike was there doing our first shoot. The first shoot we had at this big art institute. We had 2 rooms going, and we had like 30 to 40 influencers from all over the country come through. But a lot of them were people that I previously had known. Mm-hmm. Just Mike the Poet, K Love the Poet, Brandon Alexander Williams, Trip Fontaine. We had a group together, metaphorically speaking, with myself and Jay Martinez. Jay Martinez was on it. Mm-hmm. Then I reached out to other people. So then we created this smorgasbord of like just dope conversation. And that first season that we shot, like it just was wildfire. And then I turned around and shot season 2 2 months later. And for the first year, we were just in studio. Mm-hmm. And then at some point I was like, I'm just the economics of it. I don't know how deep we want to go, but the economics of it is every time I did an in-studio shoot, you didn't make no money back. So you was going down the hole on production, on talent.
Tell me about it.
On venue, on feeding people, on lodging. So I'm like, instead of just bringing people to Dayton, Ohio, let's rotate this tour because you can sell a tour ticket to offset the cost of production. And that was just my thought process. Mm-hmm. But then when we started getting in front of people and you start to actually touch the people, get their perspective, get their questions, you realize that, hold on, we're not the star of the show. The person that asked the question is the star of the show. Mm-hmm. And then that started something. So that's how the touring started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Mike, I didn't know that you were part of this for as long as you have been.
Day zero.
Yeah, day zero. Mm-hmm. That's insane. Just in case for everybody watching, you can already see the t-shirt that I'm wearing, but for our listeners who are listening to this podcast, I'm wearing a t-shirt that says, "No more boyfriends." Mm-hmm. And if I don't offer the context, I know y'all will come for me in the comments. This is Mike's t-shirt and this is Mike's brand.
For sure.
You gave me this t-shirt, oh my God, when?
2016.
Yeah. 2016.
2015, 2016.
And I think the most famous person to wear this t-shirt, if I'm not mistaken, is Halle Berry.
HB.
Yeah.
Auntie.
Yeah, she's like, you called her auntie?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What
she's the sexiest auntie on the planet.
No, super. I say that to myself so I could prevent myself from shooting my shot, man. Honestly, we love her.
Okay, I have never asked what "no more boyfriends" actually means. I just wear it to be antagonistic.
Sure, I think it's a little provocative.
It is.
Gets the people going, I think. So check me out. So I think my story kind of aligns with Ace's, man. And by that time, by 2016, I was probably having it my way. Mm-hmm. That was "No More Boyfriends" is merch that accompanied my 4th book, which was the Boyfriend book. And that was off the heels of publishing 3 other books already. Mm-hmm. And then by that time I had done 3 tours by myself as a poet. And my 3rd book, Dear Woman, was like the game changer. I sold 1,000 books a week for 17 weeks. Out the trunk of my car to the post office. And then it was she was like 102 at the time, my grandma. And I was staying with her in a duplex that she had. And she was like, well, what's your next book gonna be? And it was originally inspired to be the Boyfriend book because Dear Woman, people say that it gave them their crown, metaphorically speaking, or it put them up in a higher bar, like it raised their bar. But now that their bar was raised, they were having more trouble connecting with men because they had new standards, new criteria, etc.
You don't say.
I know shit. So I said, my response was like, listen, how about I'll just be your poetic boyfriend in waiting, and I'm just gonna write a book of love letters to you as your boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Well, my 103-year-old grandmother, who was born in like 1918, she says, well, what the devil is a boyfriend? I never heard of that. If a man wanted you all to himself, he would tell you to pack all of your stuff, in his house. So I said, well, you're absolutely right. So then I started doing some research about like the creation of the word boyfriend, like when it was first introduced, what did it mean, how it transitioned, and then what it's done to so many women that I love, both personally and from afar, of like how much this title and all the things that you do for it really damage you, especially in your late teens and your 20s, even in your 30s if you let it go on that long. and how similar it is to what you really want, which is marriage. And then the question became, does it matter?
Does
And
it?
I don't think so. I think we've all been bamboozled, and I think a lot of guys don't really take the time to unpack what I'm saying. But I think in the boyfriend stage, you're really being super performative, especially protector, provider. It's like you give all of that stuff up, and it's kind of foolish. And then as a woman, it's like, yo, I'm really giving this man everything: my mind, my body, my credit report, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm acting like wifey. I'm doing wifey, quote unquote, wifey duties.
You know?
I hate that term.
And then so it's really just like a redundancy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it out there in the universe, and I think enough people were like, yeah, I believe in it. And then No More Boyfriends became a movement. I mean, like 25,000 tees in the summer